Hi everyone. So this is a development blog here for the game I'm working on. The answer is never, and I'm just trying to document the progress as I go along. Hopefully, ideally weekly, but sometimes it turns out to be bi-weekly or more. So I am in Substance Painter here because this is one of the art assets I'm trying to wrap up this week by Sunday, and for anyone who doesn't know about the game or anything, it takes place in 1986, so it's the mid 80s, and we have a lot of these art assets that represent 80s things. Kind of like in one of my other blogs, I showed some 80s style Converse shoes, and then I showed an Atari 2600. Right, these are all items that are going to be present in the game. This is a prop that's going to be in the bedroom. It is pretty much a hero prop because it's front and center on the top of her dresser in the room. And I'm also considering maybe putting this in the background of the main menu as the music's playing, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do that, but I'm not quite sure what to put in there. I'm pretty happy with where this is so far. You're not really going to see the back of it. I noticed some of these scratches and stuff look there's not a lot of love put into the texture here on kind of thinning out the scratches and spots. So I'm gonna probably approach that. You wouldn't have basically the thing being scratched over its entire surface. It's missing a lot of the text on here that you're gonna have this entire readout here for this, and the needle's not textured either, where it would tell you if you're on AM, FM, and all of these little knobs have little volume indicators and things like that. And one of the big things that are missing are the bezels here that go over the speaker covers. They're here, right? If I go into 3D Studio Max here, you can take a look and you can kind of see they have a transparent element to them. So I didn't bring them in on the export to 3D Studio or into Substance Painter. I could bring them in and they would be on a different texture set, and I'll do that. The opacity shader for that so that we can have an alpha transparent kind of grill over it. And I'm kind of debating the necessity of doing that on a separate material or texture, or just, chunking that in here on this one texture. But I think that might be maybe more of an expense at runtime to basically in Unity to have this entire material or texture be a transparent style material in Unity, and therefore checking against that transparency amongst every pixel of this texture, when really it's just a small element that I need to be transparent, and that entire material in Unity would just be checking against the transparency for this one small element, and then this would be an opaque style material. So it's kind of that balance of separate texture, separate material for the grill, or the expense of checking against this entire object being considered a transparent object with opaque areas and then transparent areas. So it's kind of like that, right? So once I tackle that and kind of smooth out the wear and tear and scratches, maybe add a little bit of grime from being touched by fingers or wear and tear here on that, we'll have that polish on it. As you can see on here, you can see I have the ambient occlusion. I do the ambient occlusion in 3D Studio Max, and I just don't show it in Substance Painter here. There is the where is it here? On your shader settings, there is the ability to, as you can see here, as I tweak this slider, you can see the occlusion that's baked by Substance Painter is here, but we won't want to use that in Photoshop. We just use that for all of the calculations on the materials in here, these different generators and things that need to use the ambient occlusion. What else? Some of the other things I've been working on when I look at, this is the wrong window. If I go over to my Trello board here, some of the other things that I've been working on were kind of the website layout and design. Someone, Indie Game Girl, she had put out kind of this ideal layout for a website and how you should kind of set it up for getting a call to action, the CTA button here, and how to basically just create interest in your game, right? Doing that. So I'm kicking off this week. I created a design document for the website, or a product document for it. And so we're good to go on that. And then on the Trello page, these are kind of all the other things that have been in progress. I do have a model for the Ford Fiesta done. I'm not really ready to kind of show it off. I have not barely started the phone. And then backlogged, should throw this on the backlog. The hair mesh and all of that stuff was really kind of kicking my butt. But mainly with the shader in Unity with transparency sorting was just horribly problematic. However, the Alloy shaders have become open source, I do believe, and I looked at them, and they had a hair shader in the Alloy stuff, and it just really seemed to have been solving a lot of the alpha transparency sorting stuff. So I think that's probable. I want to get to the mini spine ramp in the backyard. The Fiesta is pretty much model complete. This, I've been definitely working on a save system and the main menu stuff. I've been working on all that behind the scenes. It's almost all code. So there's really not much of anything to show off there. The save system, I'm going back and forth between saving as save files as JSON or XML. We're basically going to save those out as that. JSON seems very readable and modifiable. You could go in there and it's very human readable. So I'm not sure how I want to go on that kind of approach. Might not be a good idea. Player prefs for saving all the other stuff that I don't care if the players were to hack and tweak that for like the quality settings in the game, the audio settings and stuff like that. But when it comes to the saving out of the player's progress and opening and closing and locking levels and stuff like that, I don't want them to be able to read that stuff. So, and I think that's probably pretty much about it for this week. And I hope to show this off as a final render in Unity, and we'll get this knocked out and get that polish done on that. So, as usual, you can find The Answer Is Never on Facebook, and like that page to subscribe and kind of follow those development blogs and stuff like that. Or just here on YouTube, subscribe, and I'll continue my work on the game. And I'm glad that you guys have stopped to take a look and listen to me speak about the game.